So Atlas is a product that we sort of first announced back
Great
in
name.
February of last year. We sort of went through this long period trying to find the right name for it, right? And we just like kept circling back to no, it really has to be Atlas.
But oath was taken and shrunk, so you had to.
Exactly. John and I grew up in Ireland, and didn't move to the US.
Where, Dublin? Cork?
No,
Galway?
in like the middle of the countryside.
Where?
Basically kind of between Limerick and Dublin. I mean, closer to
cool.
Limerick than Dublin, but kind of beside this lake, and our internet connection came by satellite because they couldn't run a phone line that was reliable enough to be a conduit for internet, and so it was really pretty remote, right? But sort of a lot of the experience of growing up was sort of trying to get access to things that like we knew existed, but because we're in the middle of nowhere in Ireland, sort of couldn't for whatever reason, like they weren't available in Ireland or not in our part of Ireland or whatever. And so then kind of when we started Stripe, it was first available to businesses in the US. But that was actually kind of painful to us, right? Because the vast majority of internet users are not in the US. The vast majority of aspiring entrepreneurs are not in the US. And again, coming back to kind of your Typeform example, it should be possible to build that company anywhere where there exists an internet connection, right? And the fact that kind of we understood that, kind of given our background, but sort of we're kind of committing the errors that we'd kind of gotten, annoyed at other companies for committing, kind of during our childhood, that was sort of unpleasant, right? As like here we are making the same mistakes, and then we heard from so many entrepreneurs who sort of wanted Stripe to come to their countries, and we ourselves knew of many entrepreneurs who'd gone to immense lengths to sort of circumvent these barriers, to overcome the hurdles placed in their way. We knew people who'd done things like, gotten the money together, had like flown to the US, had like convinced some bank to allow them to open an account, even though they were, not from the right place, who'd incorporated companies in Delaware and like had, been reading all these legal guides to sort of try to understand what the implications of that even were, and sort of could they pay themselves back in the home country but have this entity over there. And anyways, so we sort of had this personal sense that this was a big problem. And then just like in the Stripe data, we saw that there were so many people who were going to such lengths to kind of surmount these stupid barriers that were placed in their way. And then when you think about it, what an entrepreneur, really anywhere in the world wants is to have access to first-class infrastructure, right? And they're not kind of, you just want to be able to use kind of the same things that the best companies get to use, however you define best, right? And today, the vast majority of the most successful technology companies, they're Delaware corporations, and they have a US bank account, and there's just like a standard pattern, right? And of course, as with any pattern, there are exceptions to it. Things look different in different parts of the world, but just like that's kind of the standard archetype, circa 2017 for the most successful companies. And so kind of the thinking for us was like, how do we make that standard archetype available to as many entrepreneurs as possible? And when you look into the details, what you find is that, well, actually, you don't need to be a US citizen or a US visa holder or a US resident to be the owner of a Delaware corporation. Many people in the world are sort of the owners of Delaware corporations without being US residents. And if you kind of follow through on kind of all the requirements and you really drill into them and you're kind of rigorous about it, what you find is that actually you can provide the standard package, the stuff that the best companies here in the Bay Area have access to. You can provide that to entrepreneurs basically anywhere in the world. And so Atlas was our effort to do that. And so kind of coming back to what we discussed earlier on, the way we work with entrepreneurs in 124 countries is through Atlas, we've put together this package of, we'll incorporate a company in Delaware, we'll get you a bank account with Silicon Valley Bank, which is the top bank used, as I'm sure you know, by sort of Bay Area companies, Bay Area software companies. We'll get sort of the basic tax and legal advice to just kind of get you off the ground, get something kind of foundational in place, and then we'll get you access to a US Stripe account. So you can just go and you can start charging your customers anywhere in the world. And so we launched it as an experiment in the sense that we had many reasons to believe that this could be useful to a lot of people, but obviously we had no data. This is kind of a new market, right? No one else was serving the entrepreneurs in
It's like a startup in a box.
Yeah, sort of.
Hey, if you're a small or medium-sized business, even a large one, you're trying to find solutions to solve your problems, right? Wouldn't it be great if there was like a directory or a marketplace where all these great web services were found? Well, that service now exists. It's called CapTable. Capterra, Capterra, Capterra. And they help you find the software solution that your business needs right now. You can just go to capterra.com/twist, and whether you need website building or customer service, project management, maybe you want to track applications and do email marketing, it's so easy to use. You'll find 400 different categories of software to choose from with thousands of ratings and reviews from actually people who've used this software. You get to have that experience where before you go to the restaurant, you can hear what other people did. Well, this is just like those services. Before you use the software, you can hear what other people who've actually used the software think. Millions of people are using Capterra every month, and it's free. That's the best part about it. There's no obligation. You don't even need to register. It's a free resource that will help you make the right decision when evaluating software. And you want to make the right decision because everybody knows it's a little bit of an investment, right? In which one of these software programs you pick, there's cost involved, there's onboarding time involved, there's training. You want to pick the right one, and Capterra will help you pick the right software to grow your company. Find the right software to help you do what you do better. Capterra.com/twist. Capterra.com/twist. Welcome to the program, Capterra. Everybody follow Capterra on Twitter, and if you're a super fan, you know what to do. Say thank you at Capterra on your Twitter handle and let them know that you love them for supporting independent media like This Week in Startups, where we all learn so much every week, twice a week, 100+ episodes a year. We're all learning so much here thanks to people like Capterra that support independent media like This Week in Startups. Okay, speaking of which, let's get back to this amazing program.